speaking with Erwin Hermans, Vice President of Supply Chain Services at Celestica. Welcome, Erwin.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
You know, we've certainly seen a lot of supply chain transformation over the past 2 decades. What are the key issues that Celestica's customers are dealing with today?
Yeah, I think the key issues when you go back in history haven't changed a lot. They've just become more complex. So the outsourcing trend has continued. There's a lot more complexity in the supply chain, I want to say, from a risk management perspective with some of the natural disasters that we've seen. Those are the areas that Celestica and its customers are very intimately aware of and recognize that from a supply chain design and supply chain operations perspective, those are front of mind for us. With an outsourced supply chain, you tend to have data latency in the system. You tend to have misaligned metrics. So that supply chain is getting more and more complex as you outsource. And while I thought that in some industries that trend might have slowed down, there's new industries that when you look at aerospace and defense or industrial or automotive industries that are starting to outsource more and more, so that complexity will continue to be there.
Well, Celestica has extended its services into managed supply chain services. Obviously, you think this is a wave of the future. But tell us what drove that decision.
Yeah, for Celestica, it was a strategic decision. So we look at how we have transformed our supply chain in the past, I'd say from 2007 to 2011, have really transformed our supply chain. We have built a platform that we use to enable our supply chain performance. And we truly have the supply chain DNA to help our customers achieve their performance. It's a new market. The industry isn't quite mature yet in supply chain services, so we're really at the infancy of it. But it is driving customers to truly look at how do I use my supply chain talent, what is my core competency, and are there partners out there that can really help me drive supply chain performance? So we believe we're at the forefront of it. It's a challenging market, as with outsourcing. We've seen the trajectory back in the 1980s with logistics and warehousing. Back in the 1990 to 2000, contract manufacturing outsourcing started. 2000, business process outsourcing became sort of a mature industry, and supply chain managed services really at that toe in the water that customers are now looking at. Perhaps I should evaluate if there's a partner that can help me. So we're glad to be at the forefront of it, and we are confident that we can help our customers.
How do you help customers understand what the benefits are of supply chain outsourcing?
It's really along the parameters of the supply chain performance, I think, would be first and foremost. Leveraging technology platform would be second. So if I look at leveraging supply chain performance, so Celestica operates a $7 billion supply chain. In contract manufacturing, we operate on very thin margins. So in order for us to survive in the industry, we need to operate a very efficient supply chain. And that's really what we bring to our customers, is that supply chain DNA of we roll up our sleeves, we know how to manage a supply chain. It's not just a service as a pure service provider, but really supported by our own ability and competencies in managing supply chain. And on the technology side, with the cloud-based environment becoming much more acceptable, our hosted technology platform now is really a differentiator, we believe, where customers don't have to worry about making IT investments, don't have to worry about going through the IT cycle of adding yet another application to their architecture. Because we wrap a service around it, customers are buying a service, and we manage the application that underpins it. So I think that is a barrier that's removed, if you will, to truly enable supply chain performance without having to worry about the technology component of it.
Where do you see the most interest in this model? Does it fit a particular industry or industries better?
Yeah, supply chain is a fairly transient technology or a functional area. So 80% of supply chain concept and functions are fairly common across industries. There's some uniqueness when you look at, obviously, Celestica has been very born out of the high-tech and the telco industry, so that's where predominantly our experience is. But when you look at functions such as demand planning, inventory optimization, demand-supply balance, they really transfer very well to other industries, and it really is about the core capabilities that you have to manage it. But that said, every industry has its uniqueness and its quirks, if you will. When you move into medical devices, you got a lot more regulation to worry about. When you go into aerospace and defense, you got a lot longer lead time, contractual and government implications, etc. Automotive is naturally very complex supply chain. So every industry has its own uniqueness, but the core capabilities that we bring in really having supply chain in our blood, so as to speak, that is really prevalent across all industries.
I'd like to get back to some of the issues you first mentioned in terms of the challenges your customers are facing. I know you use Kinaxis Rapid Response. Help us understand what the pain points are that Rapid Response helps you address.
Yeah. So we think of it from a managed services perspective. We really help customers all the way from sales and operations planning and demand planning into inventory optimization and demand supply balancing. And that's really a model that we had implemented at Celestica, which is what we're taking to our customers. So if you think of the demand planning side, where forecast accuracy and customer collaboration becomes very, very key capability. And on the demand supply balancing side, the what-if capabilities, being able to run scenarios, to do the capable to promise and clear to build type capabilities. That's really what Rapid Response enables for us, and as part of our platform is what pain points we're addressing with our customers.
So it really enables you to present a better value proposition in the marketplace.
Absolutely, and the value proposition centers around the application to begin with, because we have built our platform, we have integrated and learned how to integrate it with core ERP systems. So that becomes a differentiator where we are, quote unquote, onboarding customers on the platform. So we're not designing something completely new out of the box. And then our supply chain capabilities that we wrap around it. Unfortunately, the tools have not progressed to the point where you just push a button and you get the answer. Ultimately, you truly need the supply chain expertise in the people that are managing that supply chain. And that's what Celestica offers its customers as the platform, as an enabler, but really the managed services and the core DNA of a supply chain operator is what differentiates us.
How have supply chain processes changed? And I'm wondering if Rapid Response has impacted your processes.
Yeah, absolutely. And it goes back to the network complexity or the supply chain complexity. What Rapid has kept up with the outsourcing market and being in electronics or high-tech and telco, sort of being on the forefront of that whole outsourcing wave, if you will. Rapid has kept up with the needs of an outsourced supply chain or a virtual manufacturing supply chain, where visibility becomes very prominent. Because you have so many nodes in the supply chain, being able to pull that information and getting the one version of the truth, and then being able to simulate and do what if scenarios that bring that entire picture back in front of the customer, I think is what the core enabler is. And while Rapid has been around for a while, has really evolved and kept up and listened to customers in recognizing that those are the struggles and the pain points that they're addressing. And then as of last year with their demand planning capabilities, again, it's an addition to the core suite. It was an area that customers have asked for, and what we hear from customers, not from a pure Celestica perspective, but from a managed services perspective. When we go out to customers asking, where are your pain points, demand planning and forecasting sits right on top.
All right. Thank you so much for sharing your story with us today.
Very welcome, Jean.
I've been speaking with Erwin Hermans of Celestica. Thank you for watching.